Christian household. Okay. So as a Christian, growing up in a Christian household, growing up with my dad as a pastor, of course, I grew up listening to a lot of messages. And so the first thing I did was, okay, let me turn to messages and Bible to see what I can find about wealth. Yes, so also I did more messages. So Bible, yeah, we read the Bible often from time to time. Yeah. So I started looking for messages on wealth, on finances. I listened to Kenneth Copeland's, Jerry Savelle, Jesse Duplantis, Leroy Thompson. Leroy Thompson was a funny thing happened listening to Leroy Thompson's messages. That time, I think I didn't remember what level now, but I know I was in university. And I listened to a Leroy Thompson message about, what was that message now? He said you should document your seeds, yes. So he spoke about you documenting your seeds so that no farmer goes to plant without knowing what they are planting and knowing the expected harvest. So he talked about you documenting your seeds, knowing what it is you have sown, and then you will know what you're expecting as a harvest, 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. And I remember that time, if I give anybody anything, I'll write it down. Okay, I'm giving this person this. If I give offering, I'll write it down. I gave this amount as offering. So I did all that. I remember that year in particular, because I documented all my seeds. At the end of the year, I saw that while I was in school at the time, I'd given out over 100,000 in different things, giving here and there. And I was like, okay, that means next year I'm getting 100-fold. I was already calculating 100-fold times. How much is that? 100,000. I was already doing it by permutations and combinations. So what I'm saying here, I'm not saying you should go and do that. I'm not saying this so you can do that. I'm just telling you the mindset I had towards this, that I wanted to get, I wanted this, and I was going after it, listening to what I could do, and not just listening and reading stuff, but also applying them. And for that, I actually say any 100-fold or something the following year. So that was that about that. But of course, we all know that our seeds never go to waste. So there has to be that desire to actually get rich or get wealthy, and the proof of that desire is pursuit. So you have to go after it and all of that. So something happened for me in my pursuit of financial knowledge, or pursuit of the knowledge of how I can get wealth. So I stumbled upon a message by Kojo Yemade, and that was while I was in school. And the message was I had to go and look up the message. I had to go and search for, because I'm not listening to that message yet, so I had to go and search for it yesterday. The title of the message was 7 Things Jews Teach Their Children. 7 Things Jews Teach Their Children. And so in that message, he talked about the Jews, how they are wealthy, and different things he talked about. And listening to that message, it struck something in me that, okay, these Jews are wealthy, these Jews have all of this, and we as Christians who we claim we have a better covenant than these Jews don't have half as much, 1/10 as much as these guys control. Let me give you some statistics. So just look at this 2007 statistics in the US. the percentage of Jewish households with income greater than $50,000 was double that of non-Jewish households. On the other hand, the percentage of Jewish households with income less than $20,000 was half that of non-Jews. So in the upper bandwidth of those of high earners, they were doing well there. And in the place where, and in the lower bandwidth of people that were not earning well, you wouldn't find them there. So 40% of the top 40 of the Forbes 400 richest Americans were Jewish. 1/3 of American multimillionaires were tallied as Jewish. 20% of professors at leading universities were Jewish. 40% of partners in the leading law firms in New York and Washington were Jewish. 30% of American Nobel Prize winners in science and 25% of all American Nobel winners were Jewish. So I was saying all this, saying you, like, even for us that we watch movies, Steven Spielberg is a Jew. Adam Sandler is a Jew. This lady that sings Pink, she's a Jew. So you see a lot of, I don't know if any of you have heard of George Soros, a big economist. He's a Jew. These guys control massive amount of money, like massive money. And I was wondering to myself, how come these Jews have so much wealth, and we that are the Christians and the people that are meant, as so to say, have the better covenant, nowhere near them? So I said, it means there's something these people know that we don't, something that they are doing that we are not doing. And so after listening to that, I started going in search of knowledge about the Jews, about why they are so wealthy. And I found, of that message, I found this book, The Jewish Phenomenon. And I would advise everyone listening to me now to go and read that book, The Jewish Phenomenon, 7 Keys to the Enduring Wealth of a People. Even if you don't listen to any other thing I say, go pick up that book, read it. It will just expand your mind. So that book, I also read this book, Startup Nation. It's just about Israel and how they've been able to survive even though they are surrounded by hostile countries. And so I started, I read this book, The Jewish Phenomenon. In fact, that book, The Jewish Phenomenon, was the first book I bought with my own money. Before that time, I've read books, I've done stuff, of course, but that was the first time that I actually took out my own cash and bought that book. I think it was like 700 naira or so at that time. And I was happy that, okay, my first book with my own money. And that book kind of changed everything for me in my mindset. So I decided, because in praying for all these things, let's say when we are praying, God doesn't just, if you are praying for you to be wealthy, even if God wants you to be wealthy, He's not just going to drop $10 billion in your lap. You know, it has to be a process. So what was happening to me was I was getting opportunities for my mindset to be changed. And I'll say 2 things that happened to me that changed the way I think about money was, first, that message which led me to reading up on the Jews and reading that particular book. And a friend of mine that I came across he squatted with me for a while I was in school, and the guy was just, the way he thought about money was just so different. And I made sure I gleaned everything I could from him as of that time. And so all of this, I'm just saying, just for you to see that you need to actually go in pursuit of the knowledge to be wealthy. So I'm going to share, what I'm going to share here mostly are things that I got from that book, The Jewish Phenomenon. And I'm just going to try to give a quick overview and then mention a few things that I picked that, because when you read any book, most times, it's either you just go through them and you forget it, or you pick something out and apply it. So I had to look for, okay, these guys are talking about different numbers, different things. They're talking about people in different countries. I need to know, how can I use it here? Because all the different talk is all nice. It sounds nice, but how can I use it in my life? So first off, the premise of the Jewish phenomenon is where the writer Stephen groups the principles that make Jews, despite being a small portion of the world population, but they're very successful. So the secrets are, these are the 7 keys that I mentioned in the book. So Jews understand that real wealth is portable, it's knowledge. They understand that real wealth is portable, it's knowledge. Then take care of your own and they'll take care of you. That's number 2. And number 3, successful people are professionals and entrepreneurs. Number 4, develop your verbal confidence. Number 5, be selectively extravagant but prudently frugal. Number 6, take pride in individuality, encourage creativity. And the last one, be psychologically driven to prove something. So the first thing I'll talk about is that list that I saw that I could apply immediately to my life was the first part. It says, it's a mix of two. It says that understand that real wealth is portable, is knowledge. So I knew that I had to be financially literate. So from then on, I started getting other books, other materials about finances, because for instance, we have Bitcoin now. Everybody's saying Bitcoin. If you don't go and read up and do your research and study, you wouldn't know what's happening there. And when you go in, you'll be easily swayed up and down with any news or anything that happens. So you need to go in there and do research. If it's a stock market, you need to go and find out, how does the stock market operate? How does it work? What should I be investing to? How should I be investing? So you need to go out and seek this knowledge. Then also, when it says that they understand that real wealth is portable as knowledge, it talked about the fact that for Jews, education is paramount. So right now, because I can't explain everything, I'm just going to be reading some excerpts from the book. Let me put it that way. So Jews have grasped the importance of getting an education. And I'm not talking about going to night school to graduate high school. I'm talking going to college and university and postgraduate school. This requires the ability to defer gratification for a bigger payoff later, an ability Jews have developed well. So the mind, as the slogan goes, is a terrible thing to waste. The best possible investment you can make in your future is an education. Even if you default on your student's loan, nobody can repossess your diploma. It is such a basic concept, but the promise of education often falls on deaf ears. Getting an education requires the ability to defer gratification for a bigger payoff later, an ability Jews have had reason to develop. So the value of an education is really not a secret. It is similar to the miracle of compounding financial returns given with every pitch for retirement savings. The Jewish secret is how they have come to fully embrace the idea of a good education and execute it. As just one example, after World War II, there was an educational benefit that was given by the US government, and the Jews maxed it out. So I'm going to give a quote that the writer of the book said his father told him, and he said his father's father told him. So it's something that have been passing down to themselves in their generation. So he said, my father sat me down as a child and explained to me, as his father had done to him, how the world works. If you like to play around, you need to earn your free time. It takes a good education and good grades. Then you can get a good job and make good money. Having earned your way, you can play around for a much longer time with far more expensive toys. Now, Steve, who is the writer of the book, if you get that out of order, the system does not work. You can play for a little while, but then you end up with a few inexpensive toys that eventually break. Then you're left working even harder for the rest of your life with no toys and no fun. So here was talking about the fact that they have to they have to defer gratification, that you sit down, you put in the work, you study, you get a good education and come out with the best of grades. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit later when I talk about successful people are professionals and entrepreneurs. So, and then what his father was telling him, for instance, is you have 500,000 now. And the first thing you're thinking of is, oh, I want to go and buy an iPhone. Yeah, it's nice. It's a good toy. You are going to enjoy it for some time now. But after a while, it's going to become obsolete. But that 500,000 naira, for instance, invested in proper education to get more wealth. Let's say enrolling for courses that can help you get a better job, or even just investing that money to reap much more money later. You get, that's what people don't see. So they just want to do everything now, instant gratification. You want to enjoy life now. But what his father was telling him, that there's a way life works. If you try to mix it up, you still have to go back and redo it again. That's why you have somebody in their 60s, in their 70s, they are still trying to walk to eat. That's because the work they are meant to do in their 20s, 30s, 40s, investing and building their wealth, they didn't do it. And so when they are meant to be resting and enjoying the reward of their labor, they are still working, trying to make ends meet, because earlier in their life, they were trying to start playing with these toys early on. So that's what his father was trying to get to him. So which we can easily apply to our lives. Delay gratification. Those things that you think you can't do without now, you can do without them. The new iPhone 13, the new Galaxy S20, or whichever new one is coming out, you can do without them. If, let's say, for instance, these devices help you for your job, fine. You know what you're doing. You know there's an investment to help you make more money. But if you are just getting this shiny device so that you can impress people that don't even like you, you get. So yes, you enjoy it now, you have that your fun now. But in years to come, those who have been putting in the work, making the investments, let's say the new iPhone comes out is $1,000, which is, let's say, like right now, let's say like 515,000 naira. And let's say by the time you add transportation to Nigeria, everything, 600,000 naira. So you take that money and you buy the iPhone 13. And let's say someone else with good financial knowledge takes that same money, and instead of buying the iPhone 13, he goes to buy Apple stock. So of you, one person has bought into the company, one person just bought the product. And then 10 years down the line, that your Apple share is now what? 200, 700%, where that phone is nowhere to be found. So this is the kind of mindset you need to have towards wealth. So your acquiring wealth is not just where do I invest, what should I buy, what should I not buy. It's a mindset. So you have to reconfigure the way you think about wealth. So I'm going to read some other stuff. A comprehensive study conducted in 1990 revealed that the educational advantage was very pronounced for both Jewish men and women. 87% of college-age Jews were enrolled in college versus 40% for other ethnicities. Jews enrolled in schools, and also Jews enrolled in schools with higher academic standards. Another 1990 study found that 78% of Jewish males 25 and older had at least some college education, compared to only 42% of all white males. 65% of Jewish men graduated graduated compared to 57% of all white males. 32% did some graduate work compared to only 11% of all white males. So you can see from the research that Jews went to, not just did they go to the best of schools, more percentage of them went to schools than other ethnicities. So it's no wonder why you find them in the top places. You see, also for the women, it says Jewish women have also had a great educational advantage over non-Jews, with a 69% college attendance record compared to 34% of all white females. That might explain why so many Jewish women were among the pioneers of the feminist movement. Betty Friedan founded the National Organization for Women. Gloria Steinem founded Miss Magazine. Congresswoman Bella Abuza, as well as other Jewish women, led the way in traditional male jobs. According to the April 1999 issue of Biography magazine, 50%, that's half, of the 25 most powerful women were either Jewish or had Jewish parents. So I don't know if this is doing something to you as it is me, like hearing these stats and seeing what these people have accomplished just blows my mind every time. Like for a population so small, like I don't think they're up to 1% of the population in the whole world, but they've managed to do a lot, even though they faced so much in their time on this earth. They've, like we all know with the Holocaust and all of that. So, and we still have anti-Semites in the US up to now. So these guys have suffered a lot, but they've known one thing: that knowledge is portable and it is wealth. And part of why they've learned that is because of the hardships they've been through. And which will also lead me to the next point that I want to major on, which is successful people are professionals and entrepreneurs. So Jews have ingrained in them a desire for tasks and jobs that require mental work. Do you understand that real wealth creation is a product of your head, not your hands? While a lot of people are hardworking, work done with your mind will reward you more. So yesterday, I think it was, Friday, I raised a question during the meeting with Professor Kendi Taiwo, and I asked that how do people balance getting wealth and doing what they love? And I made some comments on the youth group. Okay, I made some comments in the youth group. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to follow up on the messages I'm getting. Okay, so sorry for those that want to jot. Don't bother jotting. Just listen to what I'm saying. You get these stats, you can see them in the book. It's not about jotting down. Just go and okay. So I'm saying that some people want to ask questions. So if anyone wants to ask questions, yes, they can tell me at any time. And so, does anyone have any questions so far? How many minutes do I have left, by the way?
Hello. Okay, Ibukun, you can go ahead.
Okay, so no questions
left. We'll send you the time left.
10 minutes left, is that what you said?
No, I said just continue. We will communicate to you about the time left.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions so far?
No, continue. Later, we'll ask our questions later.
Okay, thank you. So where was I? So now, successful people are professionals and entrepreneurs, which is what I was talking about here. So be the planner, the strategist, the leader, the guy who then pushes be the planner, the strategist, the leader. The guy who then pushes the wheelbarrow or prays the machine isn't paid as much as the one who manages him. The one who negotiates the contracts, or even better yet, the one who dreamt up the whole operations. Jewish immigrants to America in the late 1800s would many times start out as factory workers and manual laborers, but they tried their hardest to ensure that virtually none of their children were doing those same jobs. They tried to get them into trades and educate them so that they become professionals. This was one thing that I held tight after reading this book. I said, okay, so we see that they understand that real wealth is portable, is knowledge, so they go after the best of education. After going for the best of education, it's not just about just getting education. It's getting education in relevant courses or relevant professions. Now, on the group the other day, I spoke about that that no matter how hardworking a cleaner is, if you have a cleaner and a doctor who are both hardworking, who both do their jobs well, except for a miracle, that cleaner will never earn as much as the doctor. And that is simply because of the value they provide. The doctor is out here saving lives, and the other guy is cleaning. No matter how good a cleaner is, that maybe when you see it and wow, you can see your face on the floor or stuff like that, the doctor would always out-earn the cleaner. And we see that for the Jews. Most of them go into high-paying jobs. So they're either going to high-paying jobs or they start up businesses of their own. So you see them as doctors, lawyers, accountants. You see them taking up jobs that have the potential to pay them a lot of money. And yes, in Nigeria, a lot of those things are skewed kind of because of almost everyone is underpaid in Nigeria. So we have people that are doctors, but still they pay them peanuts. So yeah, that's one thing we have to fight with here in Nigeria. But for people in the US, if you're a doctor, you know that you'll be doing well. If you're an engineer, and yes, some top engineers, you'll be doing well. And so for me, finishing school, I was like, okay, first off, I was not really doing too well in school. So I said, okay, this school that I'm already doing is almost as good as, well, let's say it's almost as good as useless right now. Let me use that word, but, or it will end up being sort of irrelevant for me when I finish. So I said, I need to position myself, because after getting all this knowledge, knowing all these things and not putting it to work is a waste for me. It's like, so why did I bother reading up on all this if I'm not going to find out how to translate this into my life? So I said, okay. And also in talking with other people and talking with one of my friends, and also reading this book, Startup Nation, I discovered that because Jews are surrounded by hostile nations, one of their major exports is their mind. One of their major exports is their mind. A lot of big corporations, a lot of big tech firms have branches in Israel. In fact, a lot of innovation is done in Israel. I've forgotten, I don't have the numbers now, but I think it's over 1,000 patents. Is it every year, or I don't know if it's a smaller duration or every month, something like that. Like they are always innovating. I don't know if you've heard of the Iron Dome, an anti-air, okay. The Iron Dome, an anti-air missile that was created by the Israelites. It was created in their universities. These anti-air missiles were not imported. They were created by Israelites in their own universities there, and they've been using it to fend off attacks from the surrounding nations. I think it was last month or 2 months ago that the Palestinians tried to test the limit of the Iron Dome. They just kept shelling Israel. And I think they said the Iron Dome had, was it 95% or something accuracy, like it was able to stop 95% of the air missiles that were sent towards them. And all this was done in-house in Israel. They created all this stuff themselves. So I said, okay, these Jews working in Israel were able to prosper, even though they were surrounded by nations that didn't want to do business with them. They couldn't do any kind of business with these guys. So how did they do it? They exported their knowledge. And so I said, okay, how can I apply that to my own life here? How can we here in Nigeria apply that to our own life here? And it very much is the same kind of situation for us, because we have a government that is hell-bent on keeping the people poor. We have elites who are doing everything in their power to keep the people poor. We still saw orders that were sent out by CBN over the last week to stop platforms that were helping people generate money to and they blocked their accounts here. So we have all these things in Nigeria trying to put us down. And so I looked at it that what did the Jews do in their own situation? So what they did was that they developed a skill that is global. They developed a skill that is global, which is foreign companies were coming to create branches in their own nation so that they can tap into their own skills. And that was what I took going out of school. I said, I have to develop a skill that is global. And for those of us here who still have a way of doing that, or just to go for a skill that is global, look for what it is that you can do that is needed on the global scale. That way you are not confined to what happens in Nigeria. If Nigeria likes, let them say we are not paying anybody more than 50,000. It doesn't concern you. If they say we are not going to pay salaries for the next 1 year, it doesn't concern you. You can be in Nigeria, but you are enjoying a global economy. And for me, I see that as the only way to escape the current situation we have in Nigeria, because Nigerian companies, no matter how good they want to be, no matter how they like you or stuff, there's just a limit to what they can pay you. It's just the fact. They don't have the money, they don't have the kind of money to pay you the kind of salary that I'll say will set you free, sort of. They have limited resources and they can only pay what they can from that limited resource. So we have to find skills that are global. So that's another thing that we need to take out of this from here. We all need to have skills that are global. So for me, what did I do? First off, I tried going into accounting, because accounting is a global skill and it's used everywhere. And then somewhere along the line on my path to doing accounting, I was talked into going into software engineering, which is a global skill and it's closer to what I did in school, which was mechanical engineering. So I went into software engineering with the mindset that, okay, I'm learning a global skill and I'm learning something that if today I decide I'm leaving this country, I can go to any other country in the world and get a job. That is something that
youth. They are dinner.
Okay, this guy are talking now.
This pastor, the first one.
Okay,
Ibukun
he's
from Lagos.
Sorry. So yeah, sorry, someone was talking there. Okay, so that's what I did right now. And for me, I took that and I went with it and I ran with it. I said, okay, and that's when, so after school, in fact, what I'm doing now has nothing to do with what I was doing while I was in school. After school, I started after NYSC. So after NYSC, I decided, okay, I have to go and learn a skill that will put me on the global scale, that I'm not confined to what is happening in Nigeria. And that was the mindset I went in with. So it was only a matter of time. And somewhere last year, I got a job with a company in the US. And immediately, I've been taken out of I'm no longer confined to Nigeria's economy. So while, my time is up. Okay, so these are the major, there's still a lot to talk about, but I think I have to stop here right now because I think they say I've gone way past my time. So right now I'm just going to take questions. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask? Check, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so any questions?
Ibukun, there's a question you said someone asked earlier in the program. You said something about how do I do what I'm enjoying and still be financially stable and relevant? And you never answered it. So I'm interested in hearing the answer.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the answer I gave on the group was follow the money. Yeah, that's why I told them on the group. So I said, except what you are interested in has the potential to pay you a lot of money, you can see that it has the potential to pay you a lot of money, then you can go through with it. But if it doesn't, what I'll say is go for a skill that can pay a lot of money. Like I know someone, she's very into social development. She was one of our pastors while we were in school, and she wanted to always do all this kind of humanitarian work, but except you can get a good job with some NGOs or some stuff, that won't pay your bills. So she did accounting. Right now, she's in the US. She's working with Deloitte. She's, of course, making a lot of money there. And with the money she's making, she can now do some of those things she loves to do. So you wasn't necessarily love the job, or just say go in the path. Like one thing I saw with Jews is that they don't skimp on some things, in the sense that the way some people say, oh, I want to be, someone just say I want to go to school and study sociology and anthropology. To a Jewish parent, you can't do that. Like, it's like they disown you or something. Like, how do you say you want to go and do that? Because they don't see how that will help you earn a lot of money. It's either what you're learning will help you start going to the path of being an entrepreneur, or you're a professional. So it's one of the two. Is either you're an entrepreneur or you're a professional. So that is the answer I gave. So if what you love to do is something that has the potential to pay a lot of money, go ahead. But if you want to go ahead with it, and maybe money is not a concern for you, that's why the first thing I said that there must be the desire to get it. So if, let's say, it's not really a big deal for you, then it's all good then. Okay, so I
have a question.
Okay.
You said we should seek global skills. Now I'm trying to look at the skills that are global, at least that you can learn in Nigeria and trade with outside. I know that, like IT, as a medical doctor, you can work outside. The medical personnel generally, you can work outside. And I was thinking of another one now. Accounting, just like you said.
Accounting.
Yes. I'm now looking at which area can, apart from those, I'm trying to think of what are other areas that are global, because that all of us can now enter into, because all of us can be doctors or accountants or IT.
Well, okay. So someone said something about this. I was talking to someone some weeks ago. She's doing HR and she was wondering if she wants to switch because she found out that they don't pay a lot of HR as well in Nigeria. They pay them 70, 80,000. And where she's currently working, she's collecting like 150, but she doesn't see a career path there. So I was telling her this, that all of us can be doctors, accountants, lawyers, we can be this. Because the truth is this, like I'll just say it, this is we. My concern is not other people. My concern is just us here. So for us, all of us can be doctors, lawyers, accountants, and you find out a lot in Jewish communities. A high percentage of them are filled up, or you have a high proportion of them in all these professionals. In fact, I was really so sad that they had to use quota system to not allow them to enter some universities in the US, because virtually all of them were pushing to enter these top universities for these professional courses. So there's really no way around this except you decide you want to be an entrepreneur. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can now go on that path. But if you want to earn money from working and then working as a corporate person, I'm just talking from my own knowledge and what I've found out right now. Someone else might know something different, but from my own knowledge, the best course of action is to go in a path that has the potential to pay a lot of money, which is this top professions. You can never have enough of them. It's better we have everybody. Imagine if we had everybody working in National Assembly. Nobody, it doesn't disturb us that everybody working in National Assembly. We'll be happy that everybody's in National Assembly. So if all we have are doctors, accountants, lawyers, and you have all these top professions, when you have them, all those other, will I say, quote unquote, not top professions can be filled by other people. There will always be other people to take those jobs. So did I answer the question?
Yes, you have more questions, Ibukun.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
actually not a question, but a contribution to what he has said already. Getting a global skill that will accommodate like everyone, apart from a doctor or a professional and all of that. I think that there are one where we have a global market right now. The market is not limited. And I'm sure that's what you're trying to say also. So key into the global market. So it may just be your own personal trade or skill. Now we have global markets that you can sell anything as long as it has value and people can, relate with. It can meet a need, So you get people from every part of the country or every part of the world selling on eBay, selling on Amazon, and so on. So if you want to, okay, you're not a doctor, you're not an engineer, you're not all of that, but you can have a product. Skincare product sells a lot. I'm just giving an example. I'm not restricting anyone to that. It can be any skill that you also have worked on, of course, with a lot of research and effort to bring in value to it, and you just, go on and export it. And there was this training I also did on exportation. It can even be food. We have a lot of Africans, out there in Europe and all other parts of the world. So you can export. You can export turmeric, ginger, and all of that. And believe you me, those things are actually are easier than we think. It's just getting the right knowledge to work on, And lastly, I would also say that it's a determination first and foremost. what part you want to do. So you might find yourself doing one thing right now, but have a vision of where you're going to and begin to walk it through. It might not be easy, especially when you want to switch to that thing, that passion of yours, or that thing that can get you to the global market. But the main thing is just keep working towards it. Get the necessary information. Those periods, nobody may know you. You may not be making any impact. But as soon as you're done doing all of this and you launch out, then the world also actually is waiting for you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ma. So yes, that's just it.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, think global. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Ibukun. My question is, globalization is actually what we are talking about, and that is the way the world is going to. Somebody can be here in Nigeria and can be working with a firm, say a law firm in US. How can you assess such opportunity to be here in Nigeria when you can be working with a foreign outside? And secondly, too, do you advocate for any style of investment? Like, say, you can adopt this style of investment that probably could give you edge, financially. Thank you.
Okay, so for the second question, investment, I was going to get to at least talk a little bit about savings and investment, but we don't have the time again for that. So I don't know how we are going to do that. So maybe another time or something. But for the
question, you can summarize it in the question.
Okay, I summarize it in the question. Okay, so
the question.
Okay, so let me answer the first one. The first one, is said, how can you get these global jobs? So the thing is this, as I said, number one, you need to first get a skill that is global, that you can do on a global scale. There's a lot. There's the IT space, and the IT space, there's a lot. There's UI UX, there's product design, there's software development, there's mobile app development, there's cloud infrastructure, there's so many things you can do. So there's that. Then you have digital marketers, you have people who like I was talking to someone who said she's setting up, that she has been working as a virtual assistant for someone, not just someone, she had clients around the world that she works as a virtual assistant for them. So she's here in Nigeria, but she's a virtual assistant for those guys. I didn't know that there was something like that, but she was able to provide the service of an executive assistant on a global scale. And she was talking to me about she's going to set up an agency here where she has staff of people who work as virtual assistants for people around the world. So the first thing is knowing that, okay, I need to get a skill that is global. And then after getting that, you start doing your research. Right now, I cannot tell you, where can I get this job? Where can I get this job? Like for me, when I started, I knew that, okay, what I'm doing can be done globally. And then I started making research, asking questions, meeting people that were doing what I'm doing. And right now, as I'm talking, I've been working for a company in the US for over a year. And I got the job sitting down in the same room that I'm talking to him. I just applied online, applied to them, and I've been working for them for over the last 1 year. And we've never met physically, and I'm working for them. So these things are out there. It's just that we don't know that it's possible. So it's there. You can do it. You can work for people. So for different, for different skills, I cannot tell you where you can specifically find that knowledge. We might maybe have you need to do some research. That can't go away. You need to do research. Okay, this is what I'm doing. It looks like this can be offered on a global scale. So where can I get jobs? Who can I talk to? What can I do? So you need to do that part. So, but if it's for anything software engineering, and you need to know where you can find remote jobs, yeah, you can always send me a message and I'll send you links of tons of sites you can apply for remote jobs. That's for my own field, but for other fields, I can't really tell you. Okay, then for the aspect of savings and investment, yes. So the thing is this, you cannot build wealth without saving and investing. Is like I was explaining to someone, if they say Bill Gates is worth $1 billion, for example, he's worth a lot, way more than that. But I'm giving an example. If they say Bill Gates has $1 billion, it means he has either that $1 billion in form of cash or assets or equity or something of that kind. But there's that actual $1 billion somewhere sitting in some form of value, either cash or in equity or a business or something. So he has that $1 billion. If he should spend that $1 billion, he no longer has it. So when we say you're accumulating wealth, it's not something that you just, as all the money is coming, you're spending it. No. If I get 500,000 naira today and I spend 500,000 naira immediately, I don't have that 500,000 naira again. It's gone. I'm back to zero. Now I'm worth 0 naira. So you need to save. But now you need to look at, okay, not just saving, because inflation will also be eating your money if you just keep it in the bank, if you're just saving. So you need to invest. I've tried a couple of investments over time, and for me right now, I'll say we have opportunities that have opened up for us that our parents were not opportune to get. Now, here in Nigeria, sitting in your own house, you can invest in the US stock market. Some years ago, that was not possible, but now you can do that right from here using applications. So I can send links for that. So for me right now, from my research on investment and all of that, the strategy I'm taking towards accumulating wealth is investing in the US stock market. So I'm buying shares in companies in the US that I know are global companies or not. So stock market investing, there's a lot to know about stock markets in which I can't say all of that here, but you asked for the strategy I'm going with right now. So what I'm going with is investing into the US stock market. And my plan is to keep investing, which there's a term they call dollar cost averaging, which is you are just every month you're putting a steady amount into some certain number of stocks that you've carefully researched, and you are just putting in, let's say you said I'm going to be putting in $100 is like 50 something thousand. So you decide, okay, every month I'm going to put aside, I'm going to invest $100 into the stocks. And so you do that every month. And you're not doing it so that you go and remove it tomorrow. No, that's for the long haul. So you make sure you're investing money you can do without for the next 5 years, next 10 years. So the money right now I'm investing into stock market. I'm not saving to go and buy something. No, this is money to build wealth such that by the time I'm 50, 60, I have my goal. That's my goal is by the time I'm 50, I should have $1 million in the stock market. That's my own goal. So, and by the time you have that amount of money working for you, by the time I get to, let's say 60, 65, I can sit down, relax, and that money can pay me for the rest of my life. And then I can pass on that portfolio to my children, and then they can continue building on it. So that's my own strategy for investing and building wealth right now.
All right, thank you very much. I think that should be the last question.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And I believe we are taking something home. So Ibukun, thanks.
Yes, okay.